I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need that money. I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need that money. Really, that money. That money.
Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, number one, and we all knew that this game was going to be on the list, so I don't think that anyone's going to freak out. Let's just jump into it, and I'll start to explain. Number one in the list, not to say this is the best game of the year, but it's just number one in my countdown, just for arbitrary order here, is, of course, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, everyone knew that this game was going to be on the list. No one, I think, is going to say, oh, I'm so shocked that Expedition 33 is on the list, right? So, what does Expedition 33 do well? Well, let's see. The graphics, the world design, the characters and their unique stories, the voice acting, the gameplay elements, the music and soundtrack. Hold on. I'm not done. The advancement of combat in turn-based RPGs, the incredible amount of content in the game, and its awesome Act 3, which literally doubles the length of the game. It's just, hands down, it's one of the best RPGs ever made. Arguably the best RPG that I've played in about 10 years. No lie. I like the fact that it is traditional turn-based, but adds action elements with the parrying and dodging that allow it to be more attention-demanding, as opposed to previous turn-based games where it's like you could just like let it sit there and you don't have to pay attention. In this game, you have to be always actively parrying and doing things, right? And, it advanced upon a formula that already was popular, which is the turn-based combat with the timed button inputs, such as like Super Mario RPG and a few others that have done it well. But it has unique elements too. Things like how each character plays completely differently. In some RPGs, characters are just empty blank palettes, and then all you do is you build on them with abilities over the course of the game. In this case, every character in Clair Obscur plays completely differently from the ground up. None of them are even similar. They're building upon each other's builds, and those builds can advance over the course of the game. That's another cool thing, is that at the beginning of the game, you may play a character one way, but by the end of the game, you might completely unlock new abilities in their build, and now you want to play them a different way. For example, there's a fencer named Mael. She starts off at the beginning of the game just using standard attacks. Then all of a sudden, she gets this build that uses fire. So she wants to get burn stacking on the enemy for damage over time. But then by the end of the game, she has a way to go into these really unique stances that deal like double and triple damage, but it makes her weaker physically, but she deals more damage. So it's kind of a trade-off. And so it gets better and better. The further into the game you go, the more abilities you unlock, the more unique the game is. I really love it. Now, also the thing is, at the end of the game, once you've beaten the story, there's still another 20 to 30 hours to go. There's all this content for people who really love the game to sink their teeth into. So you could just play it at face value, and much like Silksong, you could just finish the first 2 acts and never play the 3rd act that has all the back-end content and still get the full story and enjoy it. But if you further play, you're going to get even more enjoyment out of the game for a base value. You don't have to pay any extra money for it. It's just in there. So, did you notice something that I just mentioned about the last 3 games that I all feel are Game of the Year contender? Every single one of them had a base game that you could beat in around 20 to 30 hours, and the credits roll. But then, there's post-game content for those who are super fans of the games to really sink their teeth into for no additional charge. The top 3 games of 2025 all were actually giving maximum value to the people who bought them. They didn't nickel and dime you with DLCs. They didn't make you wait for more content, pay for more content. You just got it because you already bought the game and you were a fan. That is truly the spirit of a good game that's designed by a group of game developers that care about what they're doing, as opposed to a game that comes out and immediately within a month to a few months, there's the next season, drop more money into skins, into seasonal content, into unlocks. Those are games manufactured to make profits, okay? These games, the top 3 of the year, are games that were designed to be works of art. Games that were designed to knock you on your butt and make your jaw drop and say, wow, best in class. Because in reality, the top 3 games of the year that I just described were best in class. Let's actually examine that statement, okay? Blueprints, an insanely unique roguelike puzzle game that the likes of which we probably won't see again for a long time. Strive to do something completely different in the puzzle space and the roguelike space. Insane amounts of content, great story, continuously unlocking new elements to it, and bang for your buck. You know, the game is cheap, yet over 60 hours of content, and I still haven't beaten the game. Okay? Absolute best in class. Silksong, best in class Metroidvania. The best world design, the best gameplay elements in combat, the most unlockables, the most locations, the most amount of hours of gameplay, a whole extra third act after you beat the second act, which is the main story. Best in class. Clair Obscur, for all the reasons I just described. Best in class. So the top 3 games of the year are all from indie studios. The top 3 games of the year all are best in class and all had content for those who wanted to sink more time into them, but were also digestible experiences for those who just wanted to play for like 20, 30 hours. They all did exactly the same thing well. So the question is, how do you pick a game of the year when you have 3 games that in their respective genres all actually did exactly the same thing? They all did the best gameplay, the best graphics, the best content, the best fan service, everything hitting it on all cylinders. How is it possible for you to pick the best game? Well, I'll pose another question. How is it possible that we had a year where literally no AAA games were good enough to actually make it here? You notice that? Did you notice that every single game that I just mentioned wasn't AAA besides Pokemon? If anything, what 2025 should stand as an example of is that in the years when the big boys flounder or lose their way, they lose their artistic integrity and they're just about the money rather than the value or actually entertaining you, other people are going to pick up the slack. We don't have to worry that gaming's going to go out of business and not be prominent anymore because people with talent do still exist and do care about what they're doing. It's just that they're not working for the big companies. All right? This year, 2026, is probably going to be another unique year where, yes, I think we will see some good AAA games. For example, we got Resident Evil coming out next month. That looks really good. We may have GTA 6 by the end of the year. That obviously probably will outshine a lot. But for the most part, I almost feel like, again, the best games that we're going to find are going to be from the smaller guys who are putting in the effort and the artistic integrity into what they're doing, and they care about your time and mine. Not only do they care about your dollar and my dollar, but they care about us as gamers and people. They're trying to give us unique experiences and say your time is valuable, so we want to have it so that if you want to play this game quickly and get a good time out of it, you can. But if you want to sink 60 hours into it, you also can and get just as good, if not a better experience. All right? So what's the best game of the year, 2025? There is none. All 3 games, Blueprints, Silksong, and Clair Obscur, are best in class. You don't pick when you have 3 best in class games. You just give them all their flowers. They're all that good. I wouldn't say that you should miss any of those games. You should play every single one of them if you're a true gamer, and none of them is better than the other. They're all better than everything else in their respective genres, and they should all be respected as the best games of the year because they are. It's that simple. Okay, so that's it. There is no game of the year because all 3 of those games are game of the year in their respective genres. So if you like puzzle games, then Blueprints is game of the year. If you like more retro style Metroidvania games, then Silksong is your game of the year. And if you like turn-based RPGs, then definitely Expedition 33 is your game of the year. You also have the ability to say, well, I don't really like any of those genres, in which case you probably found another game that was also, maybe Arc Raiders is your game of the year. And that's okay too. Because the 2025 was a year, there is no definitive winner because all the games that were good were actually doing exactly the same thing, just in different genres. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay. All right. So what do you guys think? Did you have a good time? I hope you enjoyed the countdown. I hope people will watch it. But, I don't really think it's going to get that much attention or many views on it. So, it is what it is. But I'm glad we got it out of the way. And now we can just move on and people can stop talking about 2025. I'm excited about 2026. I don't want to dwell on 2025 much longer. I just want to, look to the future for good stuff, right? You love the list in the commentary. I'm glad that you said that. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Okay. 3 winners is better than 1? Absolutely. Now, you see, what I could do is I could just look at the games and be like, what was the longest running playthrough that made me the most money? And that answer would be American Truck Simulator. That playthrough lasted from, what was it, March, April, all the way through till December. And almost every single week that I played it, I was hitting the goal, per se. And then finally, when I got rid of the goals, I said, I don't want to do goals anymore. All of a sudden, support dries up, and I'm like, I'm freed. I felt like my chains had been broken, and I could stop playing it because, quite frankly, Truck Sim is good for a bit, but man, it got boring. It got boring playing that every week because I would much rather just sit here and talk with you guys and do a chill with Phil stream than drive and talk. But people just were so into it's ongoing, keep it going. So I'm just happy that we finally just said, forget it, enough of this. Let's just move on and do other stuff. And for the record, we found many more things that are great to do that we didn't need Truck Sim in the schedule anymore. I actually felt like it was taking a stream away from us every week that we could have been doing more meaningful stuff. Now we're exploring different indie games, right? We're trying new genres. We're doing new things. We brought back Lego builds and everything. It's been great. I'm very happy that we did that. So, okay. The Level 1 podcast still goes on, Casanova. It's just every few days. We don't do it every day. Okay.